What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. My name is Adam Palmer. I will be your host here on Hobby Hotline, episode 314. I was looking at the number and it looked pretty familiar, and I was like, oh, is this the Austin 316 episode? And then I said the number. I was like, no, it's not, unfortunately. So I will be not on the Austin 316 episode. I am here with two great co-hosts. We got John Newman and we got Victor from True RCS. John, I'll start with you. How's your week been going? What you been up to?
Good. I had to pack this morning. I'm going to a city that sometimes hosts a national, but obviously I'm not going there for the national. Little vacation before school starts back up. Everyone's favorite city, Atlantic City.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. Victor, how about you? How's your week been?
I've been busy, man. Painting my house. Painted my laundry room this week because I didn't want to do it on the weekend. So here I am.
There you go. I like to do it during the week.
Yeah.
Victor's a smart guy.
Yeah, don't tell nobody. They won't believe you.
So I want to give a shout out to the chat here. First off, we got a couple people coming in early saying hello. We got Kyle Schwarber's stunt double. I think they're referring to you.
That's
there,
me.
John.
Yeah, that's me. I've been called worse. Ruben knows.
Not bad. I mean, Kyle Schwarber, he hits a lot of home runs, so that's pretty cool.
It comes from, like, I have one of my logos is like a cartoon character of myself, and everyone says it looks more like Kyle Schwarber than me. So that's
is he playing or is he injured?
I don't know. I know he's I
probably
believe he's still in
probably
Philly.
50-50.
Yeah.
What about Ohtani, huh? What do you think of that?
Yeah,
he hit
40-40
with a walk-off grand slam.
Yeah, he's if he doesn't pitch, he's still one of the greatest.
My goodness,
ever do.
Yeah, I know.
Then they add that in when he's healthy.
Spoiler alert for the chat here. Ohtani very good at baseball. You know, I don't know if anybody said that before.
We bring you like the stuff. We fill in the blanks for you.
It's those nostalgic moments, those historical moments, right? And that's what happened last night. And that's the kind of stuff I dig, man, right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Did either of you guys go to Fanatics Fest, or were you like me, just watching from the outside?
I didn't. I was planning. I was trying to get there for one day. New York City is my hometown for those that may not know. I was trying to get there for one day. I just, with this trip that I'm going on starting tomorrow, I couldn't pull it off, and it would have been cheap, but I just had. It would have been like $80 round trip via bus for the day, but I just couldn't do it. I had a card show myself that I had to attend and distribute SGC cards back to people. I could have had potentially someone else do that. I didn't want to take that chance. So not this time. I had to live vicariously through other people's content and reports on it.
I did too. I was intently watching and listening. I was wondering, John, that show that you went to, was that, did you feel the effects of the Fan Fest? Did it affect the attendance of that show?
No, because it's a small show in Watertown, New York. It's a 40, 50 table show. I don't mean this is the way it's going to come. No one that's probably attending that show, like maybe dealer wise, but no one attending that show, like consumer wise, was probably going to Fanatics Fest. Maybe a dealer or two, but not really.
I wanted to go, but it was like 3 weeks after the national. It was like I had to pick the national or Fan Fest.
Right. Yeah, I think that probably happened for a lot of people. Unfortunately, I also was not able to make it. I'll show you guys why I was not able to make it here. So I participated in this race.
Nice.
Let's see if you can. If I can make this a little bit larger here.
Which one are you?
The mask. It's the mascot race.
The one in the back right here. The one right here. Yeah, that was me.
Okay. I love it. The one in the back, he said.
See,
yeah.
See, if I'm you, Adam, if I'm you, I say I won that race. No one knows. You're letting the winner take his like headpiece off. So I just claimed victory. No one would know. What was it? A tiger that won in the far right lane here? I'm
It was
saying
it was a it was
That's me.
it
That's
was
you, Adam.
McGruff the crime dog. The McGruff the crime dog won that race. Unfortunately, yeah. I was my
We
whole
win
goal
this
was to not
race.
fall. My whole goal was to not fall, so I didn't. I
There you
did
go.
get like second to last, but it's okay. We'll we move forward. We move forward with that next mascot race. It's all me there.
Well, listen, they're taking breakdancing out of the Olympics. They should put the mascot race
Mascot
in,
racing. That's a good point. That is okay.
and
Maybe
then you
maybe
qualify. You could be an Olympian.
that is a good point.
You know,
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's why I wasn't able to make it out to Fanatics Fest. Was I had a mascot race, and then I had a real race that I ran on Sunday. Which there's no videos of me crossing the finish line last, so I don't have to show you any of those. But one of the stories, I guess it was technically not a Fanatics Fest story, but one of the stories that came out during Fanatics Fest was the announcement of how many cards were actually sold of this Tops Now Curry, LeBron, KD, and it was over 588,000, which I think the whole reason is because I think one person's getting this triple auto that purchased any of the cards. We'll see, I guess, where it ends up going. I mean, it's going to be a pretty crazy card. I'll start with you, Victor. How do you feel? Like I think this is kind of a big change for Tops. I guess this is something that they haven't done really in the past. Like this really they really just kind of created like a lottery essentially for this card. So, Victor, I'll kick it to you first. What were your kind of thoughts on this card?
Yeah. So there's two things going on with this. Number one is the bounty, right? But number two is the method of how you get this card, and it's basically they did that print on demand with the base card. So now you have a base card that is 588,000, which will be in dime boxes in the near future.
I was going to say hashtag short print.
But it's going to be what they've basically done here is created a lottery here. It's kind of like almost got a vibe of like a gambling thing. And that's the part that concerns me, you guys. And I don't know if it's the dawn of a new era. This is just how it's going to be, but it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. I have an 8-year-old grandson, and he's really interested in what I do, and he comes over and, Papa, what are you doing? And show me. And I'm starting to get him into cards and that sort of thing. But then at the same time, I don't know how his parents feel about gambling, and that's a conversation I'm gonna have with them, because the hobby, I want to introduce him to the hobby. Well, what am I going to introduce him to? I just think an 8-year-old opening packs and that kind of thing, and getting the endorphin rush of a big hit, is that something that I want to teach my 8-year-old grandson right now? You see the danger in it,
right?
And
right.
I could be overthinking it, but I'm cut from the old thread, and those things are concerning to me. And I wish, the powers that be would address that type of thing.
Yeah. John, how about you? What were your kind of thoughts?
I think you're being a responsible grandfather, right? I think there's maybe some grandpas out there that maybe aren't as responsible, but that's a story for another day. One thing I'll say, and I agree with mostly what Victor said, as long my concern, as long as it's done legitimately, right? That we don't get, hey, but one of the guys from Backyard Breakers got it in his mat,
right.
something along those lines. I don't expect that to happen whenever this does surface. I hope it's a regular consumer that just got lucky, like Victor said, hit the lottery, so to speak. One thing I do like about this card is, even though they don't have the basketball license yet, because it's their Olympic uniforms, there's no airbrushing. So the card is sort of clean in that respect. It would have probably bothered me more if, they made this like a regular NBA card and you just had like blank jerseys, and the autographs is where the value is going to come in. But the fact that they could actually produce them in their Olympic uniforms and didn't have to airbrush anything, I think will add to the mystique of the card. If this was an airbrush card, I think it would change a little bit. Would it still be valuable? Sure, because the signatures and the one-on-one is where the value is baked in. But I like the fact that it's actually they're real, it's the real jerseys that they wore in the Olympics and not some blank NBA one. So I think that enhances, maybe what the bounty is. I think last I knew was $500,000 with Grand Slam cards in Tennessee until someone comes over the top of that. I don't know. What do you guys think of the bounty? I think it's sort of not that someone's not telling the truth, but it's sort of an attention grab, right? Now someone can say, "Hey, we'll pay 500,001, or 501,000, and get the attention for whatever." And almost becomes an auction on a card that hasn't even surfaced yet. Is really what it becomes.
Right.
So, what if it never? What if someone gets this? And something happens where they don't open their mail or whatever, and it just
or they don't have they don't have social media. Like that could also be a potential. Like it could just be somebody. I mean, which I guess you wouldn't really necessarily, if you're buying this card, it would be. I would imagine you probably have social media, and if you are buying the card, I would imagine you were following enough social media that you hopefully, I guess, would see it. I don't know. I mean, I think overall, just like Topps. I guess they kind of unlocked potentially a new way for them to try and market cards, like just put like a 1-of-1 auto of like a really desirable player within some sort of Topps Now product. Because we saw the print run, like there was an Ohtani card when his first Dodger card that sold this past off season, and then there was like a Bernie Sanders card, and then we obviously all remember the like Ken Griffey Jr. The Project 2020 card that was in like the 90K. And so I'm just talking in the 90 to like 100K. So those were the records. Now we're looking at 500,000. So like, if you look at what Topps, like the revenue that Topps was able to get from this card, whether, because you order more, you pay less for it, but even still, it's like whatever the most you can order, like I can't imagine it's dropping it that significantly. Like, I think I saw the price at like $11.99 for one of the cards, which I think all the Olympic cards were $11.99, because the other thing I saw was that they increased the price from $8.99 of the regular Topps Now, which is the MLB. But I'm thinking that I don't know how to go back and look at some of these other prices. I'm thinking that the Olympic cards were just $11.99 to begin with. I don't think they increased the price, but either way, $11.99 for a singular base card. And sure, like I said, I think you can order up to 20, and it probably brings it down to like, I don't know, $8 or something like that. I mean, the increase in revenue they were able to do with this specific card, I think that Topps didn't really realize that they had this ability realistically, because if they did, they would have been doing this way sooner, because this is just, they made too much revenue on this specific card for them not to do it again somehow. And yeah, like Victor was saying, I think at this point they really turned this specific card into like a lottery ticket in a way. Like, and it's really one of the first times that I can think of. I mean, Victor, I'll ask you this question. Like, have you ever seen something like this where it's like, it's as close to a lottery ticket as you can get? Like, you buy this thing, and if you have the potential to get this other card or any numbered cards or anything like that. I mean, have you ever seen within the hobby something as close to just a lottery ticket like this?
Yeah, I seen it in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. But I'm going to make this point.
The golden ticket.
Yeah, I'm going to make a point here. I don't know who did it here. I think it was the card hunter who made the comment. But it's one of them things, like, I prefer it to have been like in a random pack, because now what they're doing is doing like a print on demand. So if it's a print on demand, who's purchasing it. And I don't know how all that's going to look and how all of that's going to evolve in the back end. It just takes away the trustworthiness of, are they going to be able to pinpoint on who gets this card precisely?
Right.
And I don't know. It has that element of unsurety, I guess.
Yeah. Right. And so, John, I'll ask you kind of the same question. Is this the first time you've seen something like this? Because in my mind, I think it is. I think this is the first time I've really seen such a close thing like this.
To me, it's reminiscent of some of the Logo Man chases, right? And some of the past product that like it hasn't surfaced. So people are trying to buy still sealed wax of like Flawless and that sort of thing to pull a logo, man, and that's going to be, and then there's bounties on those, like, hey, the LeBron, Kobe, if whoever gets it, we're offering 500,000. Now that's like Victor said, that's a product where you can buy a sealed metal case or box and get it, right. So it's if everything's on the up and up, and we have to assume that it is, you have a 1 in 588,000 chance to get this. I think that's
Right.
better than, I'm not a lottery expert. I think that's better than most lotteries that offer, let's say, $500,000 as a potential prize. I didn't buy any, so I'm not going to be the guy that gets it. I will tell you this, though.
Right.
If I had bought one and this was in my pack, in my mailbox, I'd be selling in the New York Minute, right? For that kind of price. So I'd be shocked. Yeah, go ahead, Vic.
I've heard of guys spending $20,000 on this for their chance at getting
really
this. Yeah. And my concern is,
if I did, you wouldn't know. Like, I didn't, but if I did, I'm not advertising that.
Right.
But boy, wouldn't that backfire if somebody wins it and don't say nothing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The other thing is that like, if you hypothetically say you spent the 20,000, that's probably, I'm just doing some quick math. 20,000. Let's just say it was 10. You bought like 200 to 250 cards probably. There's no way that these cards are going to be worth the $11, $12 that you spent on them. Like these like you guys said, these are probably going to be like 50-cent cards at the most, like eventually down the road. Like, so I don't know. I guess I almost wish I would be okay with this if they were to cap the amount, which I guess sort of defeats the purpose of the print on demand, like capping the amount of cards that can be sold with something like this in there. Because this is a new
but they're never gonna. I like that idea, Adam, but they're never gonna do that. Not
right.
Like,
well, and just the fact that, like, they're going to be printing 500, almost 600,000 versions of this card. I'll be interested to see if they do this again or what their next sort of move is here, because that's a pretty significant piece of their revenue right there. Like, that just from selling one card, they were able to, make
$500,000.
I don't know. Like, hypothetically, say that I'm just going to do some quick math here. Let's just say, so $12 times 588,000. That's seven. Obviously the number's probably a little bit lower, but that's $7 million. Like that's $7 million.
That's what I heard. Yeah. No, and here's the thing, you guys. Here's what I think the element that they're missing is that we're creating this type of lottery ticket, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're talking about them making millions of dollars. This, to me, sends a red flag to the government to step in and start regulating this type of thing when we're talking about these types of gains. I'm not an expert on the topic, but it would throw up a red flag to me. Can you bring up Rex's comment at 10:18 a.m.?
Oh yeah, sure.
This is a great comment here. Now, I didn't know, is Fanatics involved in in the bounty, or they're just the creator of it? I don't
know. Well, no, they're not even the creator. It's whoever, right now it's Grand Slam Sports Cards, which is Nate Burns out of Tennessee. He said he's paying $500,000 cash.
$500,000 now it's up to. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah.
And I thought that started off as a gimmick between
he even went further. He goes, if the person who gets this card even doesn't want to sell it, he'll pay $10,000 just to hold it and have a picture with it. How crazy is that? Yeah. And here's the deal. Here's the deal, right? Whoever pulls it, right?
Oh,
maybe you don't. This is going to sound crazy, but maybe you don't sell it for $500,000. What's to say hey, I'm going to put it in the auction now that people know, like, one guy's willing to pay $500,000. Like, he'll bid $500,000 in the auction, but maybe someone else will get big eyes and go 600, 700,000 just to say they own the card now. I might auction this rather than sell it for. I know that sounds crazy, put it in Heritage, Gold, whatever your auction house of choice or whatever you think gives you the most bang for your buck, and you might get more than the $500,000 that Nate and Grand Slam is offering.
Rumor is that Fanatics is part of the bounty with Jeff Wilson. That's a conflict of interest to me. I don't.
I hope that's not
I think
the case.
I think that's speculation. Probably. I don't think that's. I would go on a limb and say that's probably just speculation. Like, because I mean, also you think about it like the bounty concept in general. Like, it's if a company and a person like Jeff Wilson or Golden, for example, if they're doing it, like they can write off. I would imagine this would be the case. Like, you can probably write off something here. Like, you can write off some sort of a marketing expense, either the whole 500,000 you're spending on the card or the amount of marketing. Like, I don't know exactly.
Rex is saying that Fanatics / Tops is got a hand in the till, so to speak. So that I don't like. Okay. I'm with Victor. I don't like that. Like, make the card randomly, put it in the wrapper, seal it, and where it goes, and then be done with it. You've made your $7 million. What do you don't need to get involved any more than that.
Exactly.
Put your money in your bank account. Smile that your marketing team came up with. Let's be honest with you, brilliant idea.
Sure.
It's a great way to get 3 big name athletes, basketball players, and their auto without airbrushing. Take your $7 million and let the chips fall where they may, and not be involved in that. I don't like the fact that they're still involved post like the card being pulled. I tell you what, I'm not going to get it because I didn't buy this card. But hypothetically, if I pull this card, I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the $10,000 from Nate Burns to let him take his photo with it, and then I'm going to put it in the auction. So
there you go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean,
but you got to play to win, John. You didn't,
right?
Yeah, I did. I'm not. You got to be in it to win. I'm not in it, so
yeah. I mean, I guess it is sort of like this is they innovated a little bit here. So I think the innovative concept that if I were to have gotten this card, I would probably sell it, but I would. $500,000. I mean, I would want some sort of contract in place that says, like, if you sell this card in the next year, I need to get a percentage of that. Like, because if they sell it for $500K and then it sells for $1 million, like that.
Yeah, but no buyers, very few buyers, I think, Adam, would say, if you're paying $500,000 or more for a card, that's yours. Yeah. You can do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean? You can charge admission at the fair for people to come in and look at it. Like, you can't, once you pay that kind of money, you're going to have 100% rights to, if it sells, there's no guarantee it sells for more. I mean, it probably would.
That's kind of the interesting piece of it. It's like, in my opinion, so many times the market is the one determining value on cards, and or not even just cards necessarily, but like, I think back exactly to like that Babe Ruth card that sold a couple months ago. Probably there were couple 10, 15 articles that were saying that this Babe Ruth card was going to be $20 million. It was going to be the most expensive piece of memorabilia that's ever sold. And then it ends up being like, it's still sold in like the millions, but it was nowhere close to what people were saying it was going to be sold at. So like, it's interesting how I think that there is a little bit of a disconnect between the market and, I don't know, people making prices on things. So like I don't know. I'm not sure who would be wrong in this circumstance. Like if it's the industry trying to price this card, or if the market, says that it's not worth whatever, but I don't know. So overall, I think that this card once the card gets pulled, we'll see what ends up happening. Oh, and then I guess also there are some triple autos that have SP variations. So like, even if you don't get, which, I mean, those are still going to be extremely hard to find. I mean, and also if you're buying them from eBay too, like this is just something, don't expect that you're going to get this card, because the way that works on eBay is people just pre-sell the card and then they just buy them directly from Topps. And then whenever they get the cards, they take out all the SPs and the autos. So, which again, that's going to be very rare. But so we're going to move on to a topic that's still, still Fanatics, still Tops here. We have an official announcement, because at Fanatics Fest, there was sort of an announcement where the banners outside of the actual hall, they had an image. They had this image here, the CJ Stroud auto, or not auto. They had the CJ Stroud rookie card here. Actually, I'm going to try and zoom a little bit just so we can see it a little bit better. But this card, this CJ Stroud card, was on the marquee out in front of Fanatics Fest. And I guess I'll just play the video. And so it's an announcement that Topps Football is returning at the end of the month here. And it's not just a flagship set. It's going to be called Topps Composite. So I'm just going to play the video, and then we'll talk about it in a second. I guess we don't really need the audio just in case there. But yeah, these are the designs for some of the new Topps cards. You got Topps Chrome Black. You got what looked like it was a Topps Finest card. So from what it looks like, this is going to be a Chronicles type set with a bunch of different variations of different cards for football, which it's last year's rookies that are coming out this year. So I don't know.
Yeah, I looked at Victor when you said that. Like CJ Stroud rookie. What are we gonna have? Like a CJ Stroud rookie in 2025, like 3 years into his career. Like that's not to me, and I'll let Victor speak. That's not a CJ Stroud rookie anymore. Like,
right.
It might be a cool card, but like it's not it's coming out here, the back end of 2024. When is this releasing? Like I know they did
the 30. Looks like it's the 30th.
Yeah, this is not a CJ Stroud rookie. Like he has second year cards. All right, you can put the RC, as Victor can attest, you can put the RC logo anywhere you want to, but I'm not looking at it as a rookie card.
Right, and so Victor. Same kind of question to you. What are your initial thoughts with this product, I guess?
Yeah, you're gonna give me the platform on a passionate topic like this. This is sickening to me, and for many reasons. Number one is as you guys mentioned, we're going into the 2024 season, and we're still creating product for 2023. Panini's doing the same thing. Now, first it was because of COVID and the limited products and all of that. Well, now we got past COVID, and now it's because of the licensing fiasco. That's how come stuff is coming out late, because of the printing factories and all this, that, and the other. All right. So now what's the excuse? Why are we still doing this? And it seems to be more and more prevalent that these products are being extended like way out into the future. That needs to be tightened up. Secondly is the I just don't like the business dealings that have happened between Panini and Fanatics with this whole licensing thing. To me, it just smells of corruption. And I'm not mainly talking about Fanatics and Panini. I'm talking about the Players Association. The Players Association had a legal binding contract with Panini, and they decided to sell their soul to Fanatics. And now there's consequences in all of that. Now we have a disaster in our hands, and we're the ones having to pay the price, because now it's Panini sued them, and I'm glad they did, and they went to arbitration, and they ended up losing. The NFLPA has to pay Panini $7 million because the PA decided to renege on their contract, and now they want to jump on Fanatics bandwagon on the cash cow. And to me, that just reeks of corruption. A union environment, a true union environment, is about protecting their players, not reneging. You can't renege on a contract. You can't do that. And it's just the whole business side of things seems unethical to me, and I don't like it. A rookie card, this is not something that I invented. This is something that the Players Association deemed as final, and that is that a rookie card has to have 2 licenses. It has to have
Right.
one by the league, and it has to have one by the Players Association. You flip this card around, and I guarantee you, all you're going to see is one license. And
Right.
it's not a rookie card, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, I've honestly had I've had some big complaints about the release schedule, and just like, it's up to the companies, it's up to Topps and Panini, and not Upper Deck as much, but Topps and Panini, it's up to their discretion what it seems like when they come out with these cards, or when they release actual rookie cards. Like, Panini is still coming out with old cards from last year as well. And I don't know why that like, if Topps, like, I don't know what stopped Topps from this just coming out earlier. Like, because it seems like once you have the next draft, the rookies from last year are now not rookies anymore. Like, or even, I mean, even when the Super Bowl happened, you could even consider it then. But I would even say from the Super Bowl to the draft, that is the last time period where there should be rookies from that previous season within any type of product or selling any type of thing. I'm not totally sure why they waited.
I think that,
like,
again, Adam, I'm going to speculate, and then that's all this is. This isn't like I haven't I think the timing is, I think for a while now, and maybe even for all we know, still, I think Topps is still would love to acquire Panini. I know they did try to do that, and that's why they held off. I think now they're realizing, like, we're not going to be able to acquire them, so let's just do stuff like this, right? And this is their version of, like you said, Panini Chronicles. This is Topps. You can call it composite. It's Topps Chronicles. Like Victor said, you can't. This is not a CJ Stroud rookie card, or whoever else they want to try to pass off as their rookie card. You can put the rookie logo. But they're good. It's going to be a hit, because even if, like, the consumer base doesn't buy it direct, the breakers are going to just sell spots and break this 8 days to Sunday, right? And this is going to see the light of day, and it's going to be a money maker, right? Just on the breaking end of things. So,
yeah.
It's unfortunate. Like Victor said, there's rules, but people don't want to play by them. And this is the kind of stuff that happens when people don't want to play by rules. So it's up to the consumer. Vintage card collector, great comment, right? Buy vintage, right? We do have choices. So if you don't like something, you avoid it. And
let me say something else about the PA. This just proves how weak they are. We have this Marvin Harrison Jr. concept. Okay, now. We're going to let this guy play. Now, a union environment, and I come from a union environment. I've served as a union officer. I've also been in management, that I've had to work with HR department and 6 other union officials. So I have a little bit of experience with this. But we are not going to hire somebody, and then that person says, I don't want to pay union dues. I don't want to be in the union. Marvin Harrison Jr., if that's the case, in a true union environment, you're not going to play, because if you're not going to join the union, you're considered a scab in the industry. So we're not going to allow a scab to come in and work in a union environment. And I don't know where this kid is getting off, saying that he doesn't want to sign. He doesn't want to do anything.
I think one of the issues, and again, this is when Marvin Jr., his dad played here in Syracuse, was a tremendous player. Obviously, became a Hall of Famer. Marvin Jr., I believe, is representing himself. I don't think that's the probably wisest choice sometimes. Sometimes it is, I guess, when you don't have to pay an agent. But in this case, it might be what's causing him not to sign with the, sign on the dotted line and be part of the players union, and now causing all this stuff. Yeah. So sometimes representing yourself, while it's illegal and you can do it and you're entitled to do that, there's repercussions from that. So and that's what happens. And Bob Buzo said, Topps likes something, Topps takes it. We know. Listen, this is not breaking news, right? Ruben is very cutthroat, right? He tried to buy the East Coast National. They rebuked him. So what does he do? He has the Fanatics Fest we just talked about on the same day as the East Coast National on purpose. That's not by accident, right? Literally not very far away up the road, right down the street. So this is how Michael Rubin plays the game, and he's done it for years. So this is just par for the course.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like with this product, like, I'll ask you this question, Victor. Do you think that it's just like down the road, sure, it's like the first return to Topps football, but like, do you think that this ends up just being like not as important of a product as maybe it should be potentially? Like if they had come out with this product maybe last year or like earlier or farther back in the future and not like right before the season, do you think it would have even been a product that people look back and they say this was an important product in, the long-term history of the hobby? Or I don't know, is it just like another product that people are going to look back and be like, oh yeah, that was kind of annoying?
I think it's going to be what you said there. They've been trying to push this type of stuff off on us for decades, and go look at the history and the values and the popularity of those sets. They're in the toilet. They are not popular products. It's this unlicensed or partially licensed. It's good for the moment. It's great for the moment, but long term, the value is not going to be there. And as soon as the first official fully licensed Topps Chrome comes out, that's going to supersede what we have here.
That will be the product. And so, yeah, I'll ask John, I'll ask you this question, then I guess we'll kind of move on to one of the other topics we have here is, do you think that this product is being released basically only for the fact that they have these players under, an exclusive, and they're still trying to get the last of the rookie autos? Like I said, like you guys saying, these aren't even really rookies technically. Like we have a new season that's started already. Like, so they aren't even really rookies, but they have the rookie logo. So people that are, either new to the hobby or they're not as informed as others will say, well, maybe it is a rookie. So they're just trying to get they're trying to get as much value out of the exclusive autos as they can, because they have, the Shroud, they've got Bryce Young, they've got Levis as like those exclusive. Same with Wembanyama. Like they kind of have to come out with the rookie products because those are the products that end up selling with those rookies. Is that kind of what do you think about that, John?
Well, there's going to be people who don't know the rules, as Victor does, as you do, as I do, that open that pack or buy into a break, get those cards sent to them, and they see the rookie logo, and that's the end all be all, right? Those two letters, people just know what they mean, right? And don't look into the fact that this dude's been playing for 2 years when this card came out, right? They're not doing that background check or research, so it's just going to be surface value, right? Yeah, there's the RC, put it in the top loader, sell it, price it, keep it, whatever you're going to do. To answer a question from the chat room about Marvin Harrison, he is not playing in preseason games, but he is practicing with the team. And if you're a fantasy football guy like me, rumor has it they're really basing the offense around Kyler Murray and him. So, he's going to play once the season starts, and they're going to be a focal point of their offense. So there you go.
Right.
Little fantasy news for those that partake in that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know. So do you guys have any other kind of closing thoughts on this topic before we move on?
It's whether we like it, I'll just say this, and I'll keep it short and sweet. Whether we like it or not, the bottom line is Topps knows they're going to sell out of this product just from the breaking aspect alone. And stores are going to buy it because we have to have it. And I get that. I'm not even saying that in a derogatory sort of way. There's going to be a consumer demand for it, whether that be walking into an LCS or buying into a break. I won't look at them as rookie cards. If any of these make it into my show inventory, they're not going to be priced as rookie cards. but other people aren't going to look at it like that.
And I would say, on the PA side of things, if they were on the up and up and holding true to the contract that they had with Panini, they would have told Fanatics, hey, no, you can't go signing exclusive with these guys. These guys, Panini is still holding the license. You're going to get us in a lot of trouble by doing that. Let's just honor just wait for the other 2 years and you'll have full access. But I don't want to let you sign these guys exclusive because we're going to get in trouble. And what happened? That's exactly what happened in court. They got in trouble. Now they got to pay up.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think I just look at the life cycle of rookies and sports cards in general. Everyone's going to be in a year or two there. I'm sure there will be a rookie who is as exciting as CJ Stroud and, Bryce Young and Will Levis. Like, I just look at the past, 10, 15 years. And it just seems like almost every year, if it's not every year, it's every other year, there's a rookie or there's a player who is exciting. So it's like, I don't know why they wouldn't just say, why they wouldn't just wait. Like, obviously it's a money thing, that's kind of the, whenever I have questions about why a company is doing this, that's why it is. It's a money thing. They know that they can make money from it. But to me, if I were in charge, I don't know, just based on my kind of thoughts on the hobby, I would have just waited. Like I understand that they have these exclusives and they have to get these autos in there, but like in 2 years, like who's to say that, some other random player that I can't think of off the top of my head isn't like as big as either of those players. So it's like, I don't know. I hope that it ends up people like it or not. I don't really know.
Yeah, but now you got Panini product coming out, their big product like National Treasures Flawless with no autos because those guys are signed exclusive. And that's, the hobbyist is the one paying the consequences for the corruption.
Yeah, right. That's another thing that I agree with. It's like, and now JJ McCarthy, who would have been a big player, I think, in Panini products this year, is going to be injured. So that kind of stinks. But just kind of overall, it's like, yeah, it is kind of unfortunate that like it's a cutthroat thing that Michael Rubin decided to do. Like, he's obviously aware of what the popular cards are for football and basketball. There's going to be no contenders autographs. There's going to be no National Treasures autographs. There's going to be no autographs of these cards that are like staples in the hobby. And it's all just, and it all might be for naught because they might just get to the end of the road and they might just take over the license. And it really, doesn't matter like what ends up happening there. But, because to do something like that, you have to figure it's probably because they were trying to buy Panini and they were trying to get the stock down, like, or the value down like this year. Like because you don't go out and you don't sign their 3 biggest players in 1 year without there being some sort of but a thing that they're trying to do because of that. Like, so, unfortunately there aren't those cards and we're just going to, for this year. And I don't know if there any other big players have signed exclusives with Topps versus Panini this year for those types of cards. But I mean, it is unfortunate that the collector, the person who likes National Treasures, which those are kind of expensive, but like the person who likes contenders autographs, they're not going to get any of those of CJ Stroud or, Bryce Young or Bryce Young. Yeah. Or Will Levis. But so that is an unfortunate part. And that's something that, I don't know what's going to happen in a few years, but potentially, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be repercussions from that or whatever, but we'll see. So yeah,
and that's the difference in Topps, guys. Real quick, I mean, that's the difference in Topps, right? Before the acquisition, Michael Eisner was Michael Rubin, and he wasn't a sports guy. He was a business guy, a corporate guy. So he let his people who he put in place make these decisions. Rubin is a sports guy. He hobnobs with this guy. He owns, or used to at least own, the Sixers. Like, so he's very hands-on. He knows. He's a collector, so he knows what consumers want more than Eisner ever did. And no slight to Eisner, he was a heck of a businessman too. But Rubin's on a whole nother level, like in the trenches, and that's why you see the things you're seeing. I just wanted to throw that in there.
And then, so yeah, Rex kind of answered my question there. So it looks like the only player that Topps didn't sign was JJ McCarthy. So like, you have all of the big,
then he gets hurt. Then he gets hurt.
Yeah, and then he gets hurt.
Play your Twilight Zone music now.
I know, right? Yeah, it's crazy. The chances are, I guess, I don't know. It happens. So, I mean, the chances are it's going to happen 100%, but either way. So, so we'll move on to kind of the last topic here. And that is going to be a crazy, probably, I think one of the more iconic pieces of sports memorabilia in history is selling tonight. So I think it has 11 hours here left. It's the, I don't know. I mean, I'll ask you guys this question. Like, so John, I think you're a New York guy. So that, are you a Mets or are you a Yankees guy here?
Well, I was a Yankees kid until like about 11 or 12 years old. Then George Steinbrenner kind of ruined it for me, and I went to the Mets. I don't hate the Yankees, but obviously I know a lot about, the guys of the past, Babe Ruth included. And this is a piece of Americana, man. Everyone knows about the call. Like, people who aren't even baseball fans have heard about the called shot. So you see, my $15 million bid is holding up for the moment. My cap is 16 mil. So if someone goes higher than that, I will have to bow out gracefully. But no, all joking aside, yeah, man. I mean, imagine being the owner of this. You can do all sorts of stuff. And who's to say you buy it today and then sell it 5-10 years down the line and make even a profit on it? It's just I mean, when you think of Babe Ruth, right? Arguably, and I know we have all the comparisons and the Connie stuff, but Babe Ruth is really one of the big icons of baseball, if not the guy, right?
Yeah,
and this is the jersey. This is one of the jerseys, and I don't think there's a ton of Babe Ruth intact jerseys, like a ton of them to begin with. And here you have.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, almost the jerseys are almost 100 years old. So it's like,
yeah,
and it's like they're not like made like how they now they're made to last, maybe, but like these jerseys back then, I can't imagine they were like, these jerseys are going to be around and selling for this type of money in 100 years. So we got to make sure that they're good quality or whatever. But yeah, like you said, this is.
Can you imagine Ruben? What about this? Here's a going off on a tangent. What if Ruben buys this and then cuts it up and makes it a Chase product?
Yikes! That would be
get a swatch. Get a swatch of the called Babe Ruth. Like, talk about sacrilegious. But that dude's crazy enough to do it. Like, he don't care what you think.
Yeah.
Or
or if he just bought it. Like, I don't know. I mean, this seems like. I mean, I'll kick it to you in a second, Victor, here, but I think it's just like this is, in my opinion, this is probably the most iconic jersey of a moment in sports history. Like, you could do the Babe Ruth calling the shot, and like you said, even people that don't really know sports, they probably are going to know that moment. Obviously, because we had the Sandlot. I don't know if that necessarily has that big of a cultural thing for this jersey, but it's like you could do the pointing, and people pretty much know. Like it's kind of an interesting aspect of the jersey itself. So, Victor, same kind of question for you. What were your kind of initial thoughts here with this jersey?
Yeah, I'm not a big memorabilia guy, but the first thing that triggers in my head is the provenance. How do we know that this was the call shot jersey is going to be my first question.
Yeah, they color matched it. They photo matched it, Victor, apparently. Again, I'm not an expert in photo matching, but
there is no photographs of the call shot. There is no video of the call shot. Or I don't know. Is there or isn't there?
No, there is.
Okay.
There is.
Okay. I know there's no video on it. But there might be photographs on it. Okay.
I mean, I think there was a little bit of speculation, like when this first was announced, like there was speculation that like it had been photo matched by like a couple different companies, but then there was apparently the first company that whoever owned the jersey they went to, I guess that they said that it wasn't a match, but then when they went to a couple other companies, they all said that it was. So there was a little bit of speculation, honestly, when this first kind of got announced, but just based on the fact that happened, that was like a month or two ago. So now at this point, the fact that they're still, Heritage is promoting it. It was at the National, I think. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure it was at the National. So like that should tell you how long ago this was even going on sale.
Where's it been? A museum or did Fogel have it?
No. I think it was in someone's collection as a Ruth jersey, Victor. And this is, I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure that this is, and they had a Ruth jersey, and they didn't realize what jersey they actually had until someone did some research.
Yeah,
and then
amazing,
obviously, right? I think that person's like, okay, I think I'm going to sell this now. That's
yeah. But that's a good.
That's how I was told
amazing.
about. Like that's what I know about it. So
belongs in a museum, man.
Yeah,
it does, and I hope whoever wins it. And that's a good call, Victor. I hope whoever wins it does something to that
Right.
level. I don't know if Fogel's bidding on this or not, but he's known for like some of his stuff is at Yankee Stadium.
This is right up his alley. Yeah.
Like if he was to win this, I'd love, even if not full time, but have it there a couple weeks each season for people to come see it. And we got to see it at the National for 5 or 6 days, but it'd be nice to see it at Yankee Stadium for real Yankee fans to see that maybe aren't baseball card collectors and didn't attend the National.
Or at the Hall of Fame Museum.
Yeah, or I think somebody said should be in Cooperstown too. I mean, I agree. I mean, it really is, like I was saying, it's a piece of not even just sports history, like American history. Like it really is. It's such an iconic moment that it's if it just sits somewhere in someone's basement, I don't know, that'd be kind of a flex. Be like, yeah, here's the Babe Ruth called shot jersey. You walk down to go watch NFL Sunday or something, and somebody's just like, yeah, you've heard of Babe Ruth? Like, yeah, he called the shot in that jersey, and then you're just like, and then you call your buddies over, and they're like, yeah, this is the Babe Ruth jersey. It's like, oh my God, you just own.
Well, you win it, and you charge people $500 to wear and get their picture taken.
Oh my God. See, well, that would make the jersey not last very long. Like that would be the reason why this jersey, for some reason, the jersey like breaks apart. Like I would be even scared to like touch this thing. Like if I would be like, no, you can. I don't want to be liable here. Like you can. I'm not scared to like even look at it. Honestly, like at the National, like scared to like, ooh, get this away from me. I don't want to be liable in case something crazy happens, because like this, $15 million, like they're saying that it should be closer to 30, which again, this is sort of the kind of goes back to the thing we were talking about earlier with like the industry determining the value of something and not letting the market determine the value.
Right.
I think it's okay for auction houses to speculate on price, but to, I'm fairly sure somewhere in here it says that like I'm pretty sure it says what they think the value should be somewhere, like because I know I've seen
they all do that. They all do like ETVs, estimated values, or EVs. I mean, you can, and like you said earlier, Adam, we've seen stuff go for more than the estimated values, and we've seen stuff go for significantly less. So at the end of the day, it's what that highest bidder is, how far they're willing to go, and how many people are battling. You get two rich people who have a lot of money to throw away. That's all you need to drive a price up.
Yeah. So. Well, and I mean, I always talk about like opportunity cost, like the opportunity to buy this jersey. This may be the only opportunity that someone has in their whole entire lifetime. So somebody who has $15 million, and this is kind of, Victor, I think we were actually on the same episode where we were talking about the LeBron Bronny auto that was going to be in Bowman. That was going to be in Bowman basketball. Like the opportunity cost of buying this jersey, if you have the $15 million, sorry. That's what I remember the point was. This isn't their last $15 million they have in their bank account, similar to the LeBron Bronny auto.
It is for me, and right now.
Yeah.
That's why I can't really go higher.
Right. So like for somebody who's willing to spend $15 million on a piece of memorabilia, chances are it's not the last $15 million they have. So, they probably look at it and say, well, if I really want this and I have to spend whatever, $1 million to $1.5 million more dollars because there is somebody who is bidding up on you, like they probably are going to be willing to do it. And that's one thing that I think is interesting with these types of pieces of memorabilia. I think the last kind of big piece of memorabilia we saw that sold was, I believe it was like it was either the full Messi jerseys from the World Cup, like all the jerseys that he wore during the World Cup sold. And I think those ones that one sold for a pretty, like, I think that was in the millions. And then there was also like the Michael Jordan jersey that he wore during the finals that I believe sold for, I think it was like $8 million or something like that. I always just look at opportunity and when are people going to have the opportunity to, when are people going to have the opportunity to buy something like this ever again? Like the opportunity to buy, sorry, I keep using that word, to buy, it's just not going to come around that often. Like the rarity, the cultural relevance of the moment, it's something that's really rare. Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Well, if no one comes over the top, I'll let you guys see it.
All right.
Yeah. Can I? Again, I'll stay far away. I'm too scared to touch that jersey. My greasy fingers will just, which I'm sure, speaking of a player who might have greasy fingers, Babe Ruth probably had some greasy fingers after, eating all those hot dogs, I would imagine. Cause that was like his thing was eating the hot dogs or whatever, which, same, but in a different way. Let's see. It's been on the market for 12 years. Is somebody saying that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the complete backstory. I other than the fact that I know it was photo matched late in the process. Like, this is what this jersey actually is. So
yeah, that's
what I saw. You even mentioned there's people questioning that too. So
yeah. I mean, and that's, I don't know. I guess that's maybe one of the risks you run into when you're buying memorabilia that's as iconic as that. It's like, it's as iconic, but it's also as old. So the point is, like, you can't really 100% verify, even though I think that they've done enough to show, like, based on what I've seen. But at the same time, you have one company saying that they're not going to do it. So, I mean, you're going to run into that in some certain scenarios where you have people just disagreeing on certain things from that standpoint. But yeah, that's all we've got. We're coming up on the top of the hour here.
Well, a couple of things, and some may have heard. Well, first off, I want to say, Dr. Jim was supposed to be on today's episode. He'll be back next week, but Dr. Jim lost his mom a few weeks ago, Jane Beckett, 98 years old. Dr. Jim, he's given both of his parents a lot of credit for the person he is and how he was raised. He lost his dad last year. Now he lost his mom at 98. And regardless of how old someone is, right, when you lose someone, it's tough and it's a sad time. So I think I speak for all of us at Hobby Hotline. Our thoughts and condolences to the entire Beckett family. For those in lieu of flowers, she was very active in ministry and church. If you go to Dr. Beckett's podcast, I think in the notes he has where you can, if you so inclined, to make a donation. So I wanted to mention that, and I've talked to him. He's doing okay, but we're thinking about him, and we're sorry for a tremendous loss to the Beckett family. So wanted to definitely sneak that in there and mention that. The other thing, it's kind of making the news now is for those that know who Ray Schulte is, the former communications and marketing director of the National. As you just heard, I used the word former. They've eliminated his position, the new leadership at the National. So Ray announced a really sincere and heartfelt post thanking a lot of people he's worked with through the years, but he's no longer going to be affiliated with that event. He's still going to be doing what he does. It just won't be for the National. As someone, I've gotten to know him over many years, that's going to be a tough hole to fill, and they might be surprised how difficult that role is going to be to fill. And I, speaking from a personal level, and I've already talked to Ray, just a tremendous guy, and wish him continued success in whatever he does going forward. But we're definitely gonna miss him involved in the National.
Yeah, absolutely. And then so anything else there, John, you want to cover, and then I'll kick it over to Victor and we'll kind of wrap things up here.
Yeah, that was the two things I wanted to, like, not spend a ton of time, but definitely to make sure we mentioned them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Victor, last shout outs for the show. Anything you're kind of coming up, working on? Anything you want to shout out?
No, not really. I know I was excited to see that SGC Wilt Chamberlain rookie card was a pretty phenomenal find. I was able to see it on socials, and what a beautiful card! What an amazing find, man! And
it's a true rookie card. It's a true rookie.
Yeah, and the backstory of where it's sat in the closet of a grocery store. You know what I mean? But really looking forward to seeing what that one sells for in the secondary market. Other than that, that's all I really got going on.
Yeah, nice. I mean, for me, just make sure you like and subscribe here on YouTube. Shout out to Bench Clear Media for hosting our show every week. We'll be back next week. I believe Danny will be hosting. Me and him have been flip-flopping back. I'm going to a barbecue next week, so and I misread the text that said it was this week, so we've been flip-flopping back and forth. Shout out to Danny, and sorry to Danny for making that so confusing.
It's all good.
Yeah, just also make sure to, I think we should be on YouTube here. Make sure if you're liking and subscribing, all that good stuff. Also, just a kind of a personal shout out here. Listen to Hobby News Daily. That's, I think we all work for Hobby News Daily as well. So, check out the website, check out the podcast. The podcast I'm doing every Monday through Saturday. So check that out, and then check out any articles that Victor and John have posted on that website as well. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody watching and listening. Make sure you come back here, same time next Saturday for Hobby Hotline. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we will see you all next week.